Simon, welcome to People in Legal.
Good to see you.
How's the show been so far?
Really good. We were saying earlier, we don't really need a booth because we have a lot of clients here who, and law firms that use us. So for us, it's more about the connections, bumping into people, just having a dialogue with them. Because I think to a certain extent, what we've got, we're not complacent about it at all, but we think something quite unique and quite special, which is leading to the growth we're kind of experiencing at the moment.
Which I've heard is quite amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, to just be completely open about it, when Mark and I started the business to today, so that's just 3.5 years ago, we've gone from 2 of us to 146 as of today in our 5 locations. So we've got Montreal, Copenhagen, Winchester, Pune and Melbourne now, your homeland.
Exactly.
So there seems to be a demand for what we do in all jurisdictions.
Which actually brings me on to the point. I mean, what you do is quite unique and interesting because you're not flogging products or building products and flogging products.
No, you're right. And I think a big thing about what we do is trust. So right from the start, Mark and I said we weren't going to really produce a product. We explain that to people. There's no competitive tension. So I was just talking to the vendor who was over here when I arrived. If we did some work for them, their CEO and CTO would know that we're not about to come into the market and write an app of our own. We're not going to do that. So Mark and I made that clear. Everyone who joins us in every office has to read our ethics document, which is very clear on that.
Yep.
And we have very stringent rules and procedures around IP. So IP rests with the vendor and we only work in their DevOps. So nothing goes to India in that way. So that reassures people. But I think the biggest thing is what's really the problem. And I think everybody here, if you take a business like 𝗵𝘳𝘀, probably one of the biggest offshore development companies in the world, they really wouldn't get out of bed for everybody here. They're not really big enough, simply because even the largest law firm to them is an SME. Now, we leveraged offshore development through our previous business, through 𝗵𝘳𝘀, but when we left that business, we realized that so many people here had the same problem in legal tech. And what's that? Everybody's talking about it today. You've had some brilliant developers who joined you when you wrote the application. They've been superb, really good at keeping the lights on, but are they really at the top of their game compared to someone working at Google or Apple or wherever? The nicest way, probably not, but they're still very expensive. The price of developers in the Western world has rocketed since COVID, as everyone moves to the cloud. You'll know that in your world.
Absolutely, yeah.
So in the States, people are, let's say, paying developers $200,000 to $300,000.
It's incredible.
I'm sure he wouldn't mind me mentioning it because he's done a case study, but FileTrail, Harold, the CEO there, quote, he said, it's an absolute no-brainer. If you look at it, I can bring people in, augment my current team, get much more done. I've got really hard-working people, but the most important thing is they've got legal tech knowledge.
Absolutely.
And the problem before, and there's several people who've said, well, we did try development offshore, didn't work because we said we'd like a door, please. And everyone knows what a door is. And they got a door, but then they said to the offshore development business, but it hasn't got a handle. We didn't ask for one. But every door's got one. Now, that's a very simplistic example, but there's language problems. How do you interface? So our business is a hybrid where we're talking today. I'm here. Hopefully people know my background. With Mark, we've done private equity, a startup. I've been a director of a PLC. So we understand what it's like for the vendors, but at the same time, we have access to the very best legal tech developers that the market hasn't experienced before.
Yeah.
And I think what they find is that they're paying less, getting more, and their clients are delighted. But we also fix problems. And one of the problems, and you'll know this in legal, is integrations. And we do a lot of that work. It's nice pieces of work. It's not the same as some of our bigger projects. We basically vendor A and vendor B, their clients know they'd like that they know their clients want an integration. They may be semi-competitors, maybe not. But the CTOs never get round to it. It's always coming. It's always coming. So actually what happens quite a lot is those CEOs will reach out to me and say, or Mark, and say, guys, could you fix this for us? And we'll say, yep, we can have it done in 2 months. Clients are delighted. Both vendors think we don't mind because we're quite happy for them, Xperate, to have their IP and access to it. They trust us. Big thing about it. So we do a lot of that. And then really our other stream are things like we do development as a service. So you want to take your on-premise solution to the cloud. A general comment, people are struggling. You know the vendors in the marketplace over the years. Yeah. They've got really good, functionally rich on-premise solutions. They want to take it to the cloud, but the people internally are not really up to that.
Yep.
Just a generalization, not picking on anyone. By the way, it's the same for us back in our time in the previous business. So we can actually unlock that and give a roadmap to success.
Wow.
Which the client base then, hopefully given our background, I think we're reasonably good at.
Yep.
So they then have confidence that the vendor can actually do it.
Yep.
That's development as a service. You might have 20 developers, 10 developers, 30 developers. They just work under instruction from your team, become part of your team. Fixed price per month, usually on a 12, 24 or 36 month contract. We then do specific projects. You might have an application, you're struggling to get the next release out with certain features, and you say, could you guys come in and finish it? We want it done by our user group conference in November. Can you work to that? And how many developers do we need? And we might say you need 3 developers. We'll have it done in September for testing.
Okay.
It'll be available for your user group conference.
Yep.
So that's what we do there. And I think the biggest thing in people, it's always the people. Do this from what you do.
Absolutely.
And what I think happens is, and I've been there as well, as a CEO, CTO, CFO of a legal tech business, you're at board meetings, your private equity backers or whatever are giving you a hard time about the roadmap's not happening. We could get more sales if you did more stuff.
Yep.
The CEO's on the CPO and CTO's case. They're on the case with their people, but it's just a logjam. And we free that up because the CEO's sat there thinking, I just need to get this going. Yeah. I've got really nice guys, but they're not up to doing what I want them to do. Yep. So I've got to get this going because otherwise I'm just going to keep getting in the neck. They think, oh, I could offshore. I've heard now people are brilliant in India, but where do you start? Sis, don't want to know. You might want to start with 10 developers. You're in the States, you're in Oz, you're in the UK. Yep. You're paying a fortune for that size of development team recruiting locally. You've got to educate them. There's a build-up time, but they're frankly terrified. It's about job retention because they know there's so many people who've got it wrong.
Yeah.
And end up being fired.
Yep.
And they've got an investment in the business, shareholders, but private equity are brutal, frankly, getting rid of you if you don't deliver. But what we're finding is the private equity world equally know us from our days before when we were private equity backed and our time on the market, where obviously the reporting side's really stringent.
Yeah.
So, and they know we've done offshoring and we know we've got that. So actually the private equity people at the board meeting are saying, we checked these guys out.
Yep.
I think we should do this. Yep. So the CEO feels relieved now.
Yep.
He's got the support of the investor. He can sit down with the CTO. And in fairness, they're often reluctant. They've heard all the horror stories, but we help with that process. We say, we've been there. We made a few mistakes. That's life when we did it, but we're here to stop you making the same mistakes we made.
As you said, you've got a hybrid model. You've got one of the uniquenesses I kind of see in your business, you've got the experience of yourself and Mark. If I was actually a scout legal tech vendor, I'm almost compelled to actually ask you about product market fit.
Yeah.
For the product. So I'm going to build this module, build this product, and I'll say, look, guys, build it for me. What do you think the product market fit looks like as well? And you'll have some suggestions on it.
We will, but we're very careful again not to give away any trade secrets.
Yeah, of course.
So it's very much orientated. You've just got private equity investment. You're going great guns. You've got 100 users now. Everybody likes what you're doing, but you really need to up the game and get the roadmap going. We do that because Mark and I get involved. Barrett gets involved. So we help on the commercial side to say, well, guys, looking at what you do, forget everybody else. Have you thought about doing this?
Yep.
Or are your APIs have you got the platform right? Would you rather like us to look at this part? Do you need a top-end architect to come in who's developed 5,000, 10,000 seat legal tech applications to look at your architecture? That actually appeals to a lot of time people because the board might be just a bit worried about, have we really got the right architecture?
Yeah, exactly.
So we do quite a lot of discovery to facilitate that level of confidence to say, well, actually, guys, everything's fine apart from your APIs over here. Yeah. And you probably need to fix that first before we do the exciting stuff. Because that will make your life easier.
Yep. That's the other thing too, is I guess you're finding areas where you can get the biggest ROI.
That's it.
I mean, that's what you're actually doing. So you know these people's jobs, you know what they're trying to achieve, and you're figuring out the best areas where they can get the gold and get the credibility internally.
Exactly that. So that's really us.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Well, brilliant discussion, and lots more to actually come on People Legal. But thanks for your time, David.
David, great to see you. Really good. Thank you.